Thank you for your participation to the event on Planned Urbanization India-Japan Collaboration Today. 本日は計画的な都市化日印協力にご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。To begin today's event, may I request His Excellency Mr. Shibi George, Ambassador of India to Japan, to make inaugural remarks. はじめに駐日インド大使シビ・ジョージ閣下より開会挨拶をいただきます。
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Kazuya Nakajo, Executive Vice President of JETRO, Mr. Kudan-minami, Joint Secretary, International Cooperation and Smart Cities, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, Mr. Yoshihiro Kakishita, Counselor for Global Strategies, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, Government of Japan, Mr. Nagaraj, Director, Corporate Planning, Housing and Urban Development, Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, a very good afternoon to you all. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to this seminar, Planned Urbanization, India-Japan Collaboration, focused on strengthening further collaboration between India and Japan in the field of urban development. Friends, India is the second largest urban system in the world, and 11% of the total global urban population lives in Indian cities. By 2050, India is projected to add 416 million urban dwellers to the world's urban population and will be home to about 58% of the total global population. India has undertaken the world's largest planned urbanization program, and various transformative policies and interventions have resulted in Indian cities poised to achieve India's economic and sustainable growth targets. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs of India has launched several initiatives such as the Swachh Bharat Mission, Smart Cities Mission, Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, and Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana, which collectively seek to foster a better quality of life for India's urban citizens through improving urban governance, city planning, and availability and quality of urban infrastructure. Dear friends, we have seen that in the last couple of years, India-Japan relationship has transformed. As Indian economy transformed, our relationship with Japan has also transformed. In the history of India-Japan relations, in India's economic transformation, Japan has always played an important role. Particularly, that role is visible in issues related to urbanization, mobility. Let us look at India's mobility or transport history. Japan has brought in a transformational change when the Suzuki car was introduced 40 years ago. It changed the Indian automobile landscape. The cars came in and we got familiarized with the smaller cars. And today 40% of India's automobile sector is the Suzuki car. That transformation continued for several years, and then came another major transformation in India's mass mobility, that is the Delhi Metro. It came 20 years ago, and we have seen how that transformed the lives in Delhi. Same thing happened with many other cities with the introduction of metros. And now we are seeing the mass mobility transformation getting another major change with the Shinkansen coming to India. So urbanization is closely associated with mobility, and that transport mobility, we have seen the role Japan has played. This is the case with many other infrastructure projects in India. You go to any part of the country, you will see a Japan-supported infrastructure project. So we are proud that we have a partnership which helps us to build our relationship. This is part of our special strategic and global partnership, the 10th year of which we celebrate this year in 2024. And I'm very happy that we have a roadmap which is set to further build on this relationship. We will have several rounds of meetings associated with several elements related to mobility, several elements related to infrastructure and economic transformation. Another important area which helps in planned urbanization is the digital infrastructure. We have seen how India has transformed in the last few years. During the G20 meetings last year, there were 200 meetings held in India, and each of these meetings were attended by our Japanese friends as part of the G20 framework. And each one of them who went to India, when they came back, they spoke to me about a transformed India, a changed India, a new India, where mostly they have noticed the transformation in the digital infrastructure. India has changed. Of course, it needs further developments, and we are continuing to make that progress. And in that, we are working very closely with Japan. When we go for a Vikasit India, that is 2047, when India becomes a developed country, in that Japan is a reliable partner. And we look forward to working closely with Japan. And our relationship has several elements associated with urbanization. For example, we had signed the MOU on the field of sustainable urban development, signed between Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, which was signed in March 2022. The 14th meeting of the Joint Working Group on Sustainable Urban Development, co-chaired by Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, was held in December last year, where both sides agreed to collaborate in sharing experience in flood management, expertise in building design to face high magnitude earthquakes, and exchange knowledge and best practices in urban planning, smart cities, etc. Through strategic partnerships, knowledge exchange, and joint ventures, India and Japan can leverage each other's strengths to address common challenges such as urban congestion, environmental degradation, infrastructure development, and so on. By joining hands, we can amplify our efforts and create cities that are not only sustainable and resilient, but also vibrant and inclusive, laying the foundation for a brighter future for generations to come. Dear friends, I extend my gratitude to all the participants for their presence in today's seminar, and hopeful that this seminar will help us yield significant opportunities for strengthening further collaborations between India and Japan in the field of urban development. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. Next, I would like to request Mr. Kazuya Nakajo, Executive Vice President, JETRO, to make a remarks virtually. 続きまして、JETRO 理事、中条和也様よりオンラインでご挨拶いただきます。スクリーンをご覧くださいませ。
Okay, thank you very much. His Excellency Mr. Siri George, Ambassador of India to Japan. Mr. Kunal Kumar, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. Mr. Yoshihiko Kakishita-san, Counselor for Global Strategies, Minister's Secretariat, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, Government of Japan. And Mr. Sanjay Kurushesta, Chairman and Managing Director, Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is Nakajo of JETRO, representing partner organization. Let me say a few words. Unlike other emerging economies, India's urban population ratio against the national population is still low, as low as 35%. And in comparison with the international stats, global average of China is 60%, of G20 nations average is 75%, of US 80%, and Japan is 90%. And looking at these figures and considering India's high economic growth rate, you can easily predict the trend of which inflow of rural population to the urban area of India, or small and medium towns to become big cities, shall be realized in India. In looking at the Indian stat, Indian urban population has been increasing by 10 million or 1 crore a year. Each year, urban population is rising by 10 million people. And this is, in the other words, India is creating a Tokyo metropolitan every year. So you can see how drastic the situation is changing. India is a young country with an average age of 27. And it is obvious in the next few decades, along with increasing efficiency and mechanization in the farmland, tremendous number of young population in this area are leaving for the cities. And India will shift to urban society like our country, Japan, or the other developed nations. On the other hand, India is family-based society. Many people would not want in their mind to go to the remote big city to work or to study, far away from their families. And this kind of sentiment will lead more smaller city and rural areas be developed as core urban areas in respective regions. Tier 3 and Tier 4 cities or Tier 5 cities shall be emerged all over around India. And this will lead a greater demand for smart city element along with or part of urban infrastructure. Japan do have excellent technology in this field. For example, Nippon Electric Corporation NEC's face recognition system has already introduced in some cities in India and also in some airports, which contributed for crime prevention. Other examples include a smart grid and smart meters, which contributing optimization of electric consumption and distribution, urban transportation systems represented by metro and bus transit system, and also the smart electric, smart traffic light systems. These are contributing to smart mobility, and all of these are already introduced in India with all means. Besides advanced technology, Japan also has long experience in and know-how of city management, especially in environment and sanitary management systems. This includes the water supply and sewage systems, garbage collection and waste management systems, water creation systems. And all these also has been contributing in some city management in India already. In building new cities or managing growing population of existing urban areas in India, this Japanese advanced technology or long developed know-how and experience could greatly contribute for sorting out arising social issues of India. In this sense, I think today's seminar is very timely. The need for Japan-India cooperation in this area will increase drastically from now on to the near future, obviously. JETRO ourselves has also been involved in providing assistance in the water energy sectors. We'll be happy to cooperate with you in resolving all these issues arising from urbanization in India in today and in the future. So that's my remarks. Thank you very much.
中条様、ありがとうございます。We would We would like to show you video on New Urban India now. Please see the screen. ここでビデオを上映したいと思います。どうぞスクリーンをご覧くださいませ。
भारत में तीव्र गति से हो रहा शहरों का कायाकल्प एवं निर्माण कार्य हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की संकल्प शक्ति का नतीजा है, जिसके चलते भारत के हर नागरिक को बेहतर सुविधाएं मिल रही हैं। वर्ष 2001 से लेकर 2014 तक माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में गुजरात ने शहरी विकास के क्षेत्र में अभूतपूर्व प्रगति की। यही कारण है आज भी विकास का गुजरात मॉडल पूरे भारत के लिए विकास का मंत्र बना हुआ है।
आज आवश्यक है कि हमारे शहरों में संभावनाएं हो, समृद्धि हो, सम्मान हो, सुरक्षा हो, सशक्त समाज हो और आधुनिक सुविधाएं भी हो।
वर्ष 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री पद की शपथ लेते हुए उन्होंने भारत के अतुल्य विकास और निर्माण की प्रतिज्ञा पूरे देश के समक्ष ली थी। इस प्रतिज्ञा के तहत प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में आवासन और शहरी कार्य मंत्रालय द्वारा शहरों के संपूर्ण विकास के लिए विभिन्न महत्वाकांक्षी मिशन शुरू किए गए। आज ये मिशन दशकों से उपेक्षित भारत के शहरों की दशा और दिशा दोनों को बदलने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री जी द्वारा आरंभ किया हुआ स्वच्छ भारत मिशन सफलता और प्रेरणा की ऐतिहासिक कहानी दर्शाता है। देश के 3200 शहरों में 65,000 सार्वजनिक शौचालय आज गूगल मैप्स पर पाए जा सकते हैं। लगभग 20 करोड़ लोग सीधे या अन्य माध्यम से इस मिशन से जुड़कर इसे एक जन आंदोलन का रूप दे चुके हैं, जिसके चलते आज भारत में वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट टू वेल्थ क्रिएशन एक सुनहरा अवसर बन चुका है। अपना घर हर परिवार का सपना होता है और प्राथमिक जरूरत भी। प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना ने लाखों शहरी परिवारों का ये सपना पूरा कर उनके चेहरों पर मुस्कान बिखेरी है। इस योजना ने समाज के विभिन्न वर्गों के लाभार्थियों, विशेषकर महिलाओं को सुरक्षित एवं गरिमापूर्ण जीवन प्रदान करने के साथ ही देश की अर्थव्यवस्था में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। भारत सरकार ने ग्लोबल हाउसिंग टेक्नोलॉजी चैलेंज इंडिया के अंतर्गत विश्व की उत्कृष्ट निर्माण तकनीकों का उपयोग करते हुए 6 राज्यों में लाइट हाउस प्रोजेक्ट्स का तीव्र गति से निर्माण किया जा रहा है। साथ ही हाउसिंग टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़ी रिसर्च और स्टार्टअप्स को बढ़ावा देने के लिए आशा इंडिया के माध्यम से भारत में 21वीं सदी के घरों के निर्माण की नई और सस्ती तकनीक विकसित की जा रही है। आजादी के बाद पहली बार अफोर्डेबल रेंटल हाउसिंग कॉम्प्लेक्सेस योजना के अंतर्गत शहरी प्रवासियों, मजदूरों और आर्थिक रूप से कमजोर लोगों को किफायती किराए पर आवास उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं। सरकार ने रियल एस्टेट के क्षेत्र में रेरा अधिनियम खरीदारों को एक कारगर शक्ति प्रदान की है। इससे निर्माण क्षेत्र में एक नए युग की शुरुआत हुई है और साथ ही ट्रांसपेरेंसी एवं अकाउंटेबिलिटी को प्रोत्साहन मिला है। पारदर्शी तरीकों से किराएदारों और मकान मालिकों के हितों को संरक्षित करने के लिए भारत सरकार ने मॉडल टेनेंसी एक्ट लागू कर कानून को नया रूप देने का एक महत्वपूर्ण कार्य किया है। दीनदयाल अंत्योदय योजना नेशनल अर्बन लाइवलीहुड्स मिशन के माध्यम से उद्यमिता को बढ़ावा देकर शहरी गरीबों के जीवन में बदलाव लाने का काम हो रहा है। पीएम स्वनिधि योजना के द्वारा सरकार सुनिश्चित कर रही है कि रेहड़ी पटरी विक्रेताओं को अपने व्यवसायों को चलाने एवं विस्तार करने में मदद मिले। आज शहरों को सिर्फ स्वच्छ ही नहीं बल्कि सुंदर बनाए जाने पर भी पूरा जोर दिया जा रहा है। जगह जगह पार्कों एवं मनोरंजन केंद्रों का निर्माण इसी दिशा में उठाए गए कदम है। जन साधारण की सुविधाओं को ध्यान में रखते हुए जलापूर्ति, सेप्टेज प्रबंधन, सार्वजनिक परिवहन सुविधाएं, पार्किंग स्थल आदि की व्यवस्थाएं उचित रूप से की जा रही हैं। भारत सरकार द्वारा शहरों में आधुनिक विश्व स्तरीय परिवहन का निर्माण किया जा रहा है। सरकार पर्यावरण के प्रति अपना दायित्व समझते हुए आधुनिक एसी इलेक्ट्रिक बसों को नगरीय परिवहन का हिस्सा बनाने में सफल हुई है। गेट मोर फ्रॉम लेस के मंत्र की राह पर चलते हुए 100 शहरों को स्मार्ट सिटी के रूप में विकसित किया गया है। विश्व स्तर की आधुनिक तकनीकों का इस्तेमाल कर लोगों के जीवन का स्तर, आर्थिक कार्य के अवसर और शहरों की सस्टेनेबिलिटी के ऊपर कार्य किए जा रहे हैं। अब ये मिशन एक मूवमेंट का रूप ले रहा है। विकास के संकल्प को ध्यान में रखते हुए आज का आधुनिक भारत अपने अगले चरण में प्रवेश कर रहा है। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव में हाल ही में लॉन्च हुए स्वच्छ भारत मिशन अर्बन 2.0 एवं अमृत 2.0 के साथ ही सैचुरेशन मॉडल को भविष्य के निर्माण का रोड मैप मानकर भारत अब और भी बेहतर स्वच्छता, आर्थिक अवसरों, ईज ऑफ लिविंग और अपनी आत्मनिर्भरता पर काम करते हुए एक न्यू अर्बन इंडिया बनने की राह पर अग्रसर हो चला है।
To request Mr. Kunal-Kumar, Joint Secretary, International Cooperation and Smart Cities, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India to make presentation by online. 続きまして、インド政府住宅都市省国際協力スマートシティ実務室長、クナール・クマール様よりオンラインでご講演いただきます。どうぞスクリーンをご覧くださいませ。
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? If I am audible, can you please put my presentation on the screen? Thank you. And I'm just wanting to know if I'm audible so that I can begin. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. May I request you to go to the next slide? As was rightly put in the opening remarks, India is at a very interesting point in its history. Over the last 75 years, we have added around 400 million people to our urban areas, and we're going to add more than that in the next 25. So literally the pace of urbanization in India is going to triple over the next 2.5 decades. If you look at the world situation, we may add around 2.5 billion people to the world urban population over the next 25 years, of which only 4 countries, which is India, Nigeria, Indonesia, and Vietnam, could add 90%. So these are the countries where the urbanization issue is going to be very critically dealt with and actually will play out in a big way over the next 2.5 decades. Cities, as we know, have a lot of potential to contribute to the economy of the country. India has very high aspirational goals of becoming a developed country by 2047. In order to achieve that, it will be very vital that our cities end up producing the results that they are required to, and they work as economic powerhouses, for which a certain degree of planning, a lot of economic planning, integrated spatial planning, and our ability to ease processes, reduce regulatory burdens, improve ease of living and ease of doing business will be required. May I request you to go to the next slide, please? Can you please go to the next slide? Am I audible in Japan? Can you please go to the next slide? Can you confirm you can hear me in Japan? No, we've gone to slide 6. We have to go to slide 2. Right. So because of paucity of time and because we are losing time on the presentation transition itself, I'll be very focused. If you look at this pyramid, it tells you about how we as a Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in India are looking at dealing with the situation before us. We have a lot of programs which we work on with our states and cities, 36 states and union territories, about 5,000 cities, where a lot of programs on water, wastewater, sanitation, solid waste management, livelihood creation, etc. are going on. Then there is this middle layer of 100 smart cities where 1/4 of the urban population of India lives. There are 100 cities who have been selected through competition, and they are experimental grounds for a lot of innovations that have been tried and tested in the urban system in India. Then we have 27 cities where we have metro, rail, and mass transit systems currently. This would go up to, by 2030, this is proposed to go to about 35 cities. And in the next 25 years, we may have 60 plus cities with mass transit systems in the country. Go to slide 4, please. Now, slide 4 is about the water program. Can you go to the slide 4, please? If you look at the water program, which is called Amrit, there are initiatives for providing water to all habitations across the country and to ensure that 500 of the top cities reach 24/7 water supply in the next 5 to 7 years. A lot of emphasis in the Amrit program is also to provide to clean wastewater and to be able to provide treated wastewater back for different kinds of uses in cities. So that is where the focus is on the Amrit program, and a lot of opportunity lies in India because of the 5,000 cities, hardly very few cities today have 24/7 water supply. The bigger cities especially are struggling. A lot of investments are going there. So investments in water supply systems, in filtering systems, in metering systems, in SCADA systems, in instrumentation systems, in pipes, and actual delivery of the entire water network is what is required. May I request you to go to slide 7, please? Can you go to slide 7, please? Maybe there is, can someone in Japan confirm you can at least hear me? Because otherwise I can skip the slides, I can speak, right? So slide 7 talks about the Swachh Bharat mission. This is SBM. And if you look at these 8 or 10 bullets, these are the broad target areas under this program. We are targeting that each city reaches a door-to-door collection, is able to segregate waste, scientifically process it. A big program on waste legacy dump site remediation is currently on, which is supposed to be done across all cities by 2026. The outlay for the program has been mentioned, the amount of investment that is going in, and a lot of effort is now being taken in automating systems for cleaning, for use of for reduction of single-use plastic, etc. And a lot of behavior change approaches are also being tried out. And at the scale at which this program is being implemented, the Prime Minister himself has been very active in promoting the targets under this plan and has actually been pushing all of us to ensure that we are able to achieve these targets. And as I can see, we are well and truly on course. Just one indicator will mention this to you, that although we want to be 100% processing by 2029, we were at 17% processing in 2014 and we have reached 76% in 2024. And the remaining distance is now 24%. So we should be able to reach that with the plans that we have and the kind of investments that we are making. Can we go to slide number 10, please? Slide number 10. Can you switch to slide number 10, please? Slide number 10 talks about the Smart Cities program. So Smart Cities program, as I mentioned, is the middle layer of all the programs that have been undertaken by MoHUA. And this is being implemented in 100 cities with a total investment of close to $20 billion, which would transform to around 33,000 billion Japanese yen. And a lot of programs, a lot of different kinds of interventions are being done in these 100 cities. Of course, the use of digital technology is prominent. If you look at slide number 12, you will see the different kinds of investments that are happening in the smart cities. Smart governance is essentially the use of technology for monitoring government programs, for able to provide services to people in a better way, in an efficient way, in an online way, to be able to manage your city infrastructure and assets online, to be able to maintain safety and security in the city, maintain environment, to reduce environmental pollution, to improve health and education systems using technology. That investment is happening. Smart mobility investments, as was mentioned also in the inaugural speech. Close to 40% of the investments that are happening in smart cities are smart mobility related. And this would include across the board investments, electric mobility, electric bus stations, electric charging stations, electric buses. Then it will also include customer experience, apps, portals, transport management systems, integrated traffic management systems, integrated automated and adaptive traffic management systems, and so on. So it's a complete, a cafeteria of different kinds of approaches that have been undertaken in the Smart Mobility Program. And as we can see in the slide, and many other programs that have been undertaken as part of the Smart City initiative. Smart energy being one, and a lot of emphasis also in the public-private sector approach. Can I go to the next slide, please? The next slide essentially shows the different kinds of investments that have gone into. It's just one glimpse on a slide. CCTV surveillance, about 80,000 cameras have got deployed in 100 cities over the last 5 years. Around 70 cities have invested in adaptive traffic control systems and integrated transport management systems. Across all cities, public Wi-Fi systems have been set in place to improve access to internet and broadband. Emergency call boxes, integrated command and control centers have come up across all the 100 smart cities, which are actually enabling the city administration and managing the city better. Smart parking systems, water, smarter systems, etc., etc. If you go to the next slide, it also gives you a glimpse of where a lot of private investment is coming in. Private investment is coming in mobility, in public bicycle sharing, in affordable housing, energy efficient lighting. A lot of investment is coming in solid waste management, rooftop solar, waste to energy plants, car parking systems, smart toilets, smart intelligent tolls, etc., market development, and of course, multimodal transit hubs. Next slide. If you could go to slide number 17, please. This essentially shows the different investments that are happening in Metro Rail. And as I mentioned, the top of the pyramid was 27 cities where Metro Rail is being undertaken. These are the areas where that has been done. And as we speak, we are in the process of moving up from 27 to 35 over the next 5 years. As it stands now, we are close to 1,000 kilometers of operational metro lines. By the end of the year, if everything goes well, and it goes according to our plan, we should have close to about 1,900 kilometers of metro lines, which will be the second highest in the world after China. US is around 1,500 kilometers. So this is where I'll probably stop my presentation because of the paucity of time. I wanted to be brief. Thank you so much for running my slides. I understand I could have done that here, but I got into a problem. You managed it so well. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patient listening. And of course, I'm ready for interaction in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. 続きまして、国土交通省官房参事官グローバル戦略柿下義弘様よりご講演いただきたいと思います。Next, I would like to request Mr. Yoshihiro Kakishita, Counselor for Global Strategy, Minister's Secretariat, Ministry of Land Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, Government of Japan, to make a presentation.
Very good afternoon. His Excellency, Mr. Shibi George, Ambassador of India to Japan, and Mr. Kudan-minami, just thank you for your presentation. Joint Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, and Mr. Nagaranji, Director, Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited, India, and Mr. Kazuya Nakajo, Executive Vice President of JETRO, and all the distinguished guests and all participants today. Well, it is my very pleasure and honor to be here to make a small presentation focusing on smart city issues. And thank you very much for His Excellency Mr. CB for inviting us to having the opportunity to make a presentation today. Well, MLIT, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs of India have deepened close and mutual relationships through the intensive dialogue framework with both vice ministers in charge on the theme of the smart city development, affordable housing, water management in urban area, transit-oriented development or TOD, and so on in so many fields. Well, under this framework, we held the second Smart City Subgroup Conference in Delhi just 3 weeks ago with the strong cooperation of Mr. Kudan-minami and MOFA's officers. Well, taking this opportunity, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation. Well, today, In my presentation, I'd like to put the focus on the smart city development cooperation between India and Japan. Well, on the occasion of the second conference I mentioned, we, Japan, the Indian MOFA, has agreed that to make a discussion to create a new platform for strengthening the collaboration on smart city development by India and Japan. So today's my presentation is just I'd like to introduce is my to introduction of our idea to further cooperation for the smart city regions. Well, let me start with the slide. So could you please next slide, please? And, this slide shows that just understanding of the Japanese side of what the smart city is. Well, basically, we understand that smart city could be just some kind of the picture that are taking or utilizing ICT technologies to addressing or mitigating the urban and regional issues to in order to realize the society the 5.0. But basically, we don't intend to limit the definition so close. Various kind, every kind of the well, countermeasures or every kind of the challenges to mitigate the urban regional issues could be the smart city trial. This is our basic understandings. So, well, MLIT's cooperation with MOFA is based on these understandings. Based on that, today I'd like to provide two ideas for this occasion. Yes, next slide, please. First of all, just I'd like to trace our path, footprint of the smart city corporations of India and Japan. And the second, I'd like to mention about the prospect of the smart city corporation of both countries. Well, as I mentioned, the smart city does not mean that a very close idea, but it ranges a very wider cooperation for both countries. So I'd like to take a look at the smart city cooperation of both countries. Well, next slide, please. Yes, and the first one. Yes. Well, this is a very small history for the cooperation footprint of both countries, both ministries. Well, first of all, in 2007, we MLIT and MOHUA has established urban issues governmental dialogue systems. And based on that, in 2015, India has started the smart city mission based on these two ideas. In 2022, both two ministry has, signed the MOU for the further cooperation on the smart city development. So based on that, we have agreed that to establish a smart city subgroup by both countries, both governments, to deepen their discussion for the smart city issues. And well, just 3 weeks ago, late February, we have, thanks to Mr. Kunal Kumar, we have managed to hold a second meeting to with further cooperations step forward. Yes, next slide, please. Well, in second meeting 3 weeks ago, we have invited various private companies as well as local governments from both countries. Well, basically, our smart city subgroup meeting is aimed for the G2G dialogue, but well, through this occasions, both countries has invited not only the government officials, but also the such kind of the private companies and the local governments to take part in for the more further discussions. Next slide, please. So why what we did such kind of the thought, and what will drive from this trial is my next chapter for like to present for you. Yes, next slide, please. Yes, this slide shows that very basic idea which we have discussed with MOFA to further development on actual smart city development for both countries. We are, of course, we are aiming at some actual project to be realized in targeting 2025. And based on that, we understand that very intensive effort for the to realize that smart city development is required. We understand. So that is why we have discussed for the what kind of the modality and what kind of the partnership would be very desirable for the both countries. So next slide, please. So just to ministries has agreed that we'd like to create a new platform for further cooperations. So this is the main message I'd like to introduce today. Yes, next slide, please. Well, on this new platform, this slide shows what we'd like to make a cooperation with both sides. Well, we'd like to expect two functions on this platform. One is first one is some kind of the host platform to promote the case studies or promote the feasibility studies for towards the actual project for smart cities. And second function will be the some options, some modality for where participating stakeholders can contact each other and exchange information or ideas. Yes, this is a very basic idea for this new platform we'd like to create. So next slide, please. On this platform, we expect that basically two major functions that two major actions we'd like to start. First one is just exchanging sharing the knowledge, experiences, technology, something like that. And the other one is creating the opportunity to networking, for networking or some kind of business creating. Well, for this aim, for this objective, we like to proceed a matching mechanism, information platform, or some kind of the cooperation platform for the smart cities. And yes, next slide, please. And well, lastly, I'd like to mention about that why this platform is required. Of course, smart city services are very important issues and very important functions for the local governments or city governments. But well, in terms of the newly mitigating or newly challenging issues, various stakeholders must be participated in this framework, we understand. Not only the national government, not only the local government, but also the private companies, some academia people, or some kind of the NGO people, many various types of the stakeholders shall take part in to promote the smart city development with very various functions. So this is a very important idea we understand to promote the smart city development. So that is why for further cooperation with Indian and Japanese side, we will start a new platform for create further cooperation with both countries. And well, just now we are just making discussion with MOFA to complete the idea for this platform. So as soon as the discussion is finalized, it will be planned that calling for the many stakeholders, including the private companies of the Japanese side. So in this case, it will be highly appreciated that many Japanese countries have interested in this platform to make the cooperation, to make a business, or to make a project in India. Well, anyway, thank you very much. And 最後には日本企業の皆様方のこのプラットフォームへのご理解、ご参加を、お願いすることを、国土交通省からの、お願いといたしまして、私のプレゼントをさせていただきます。Thank you very much and thank you for your attention. That's my presentation.
竹下さん、ちかん様、ありがとうございました。Next, I would like to request Mr. M. Nagaraj, Director, Corporate Planning, Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited, to make a presentation virtually. 続きまして、インド住宅都市開発公社コーポレートプランニングディレクター M. 長良様よりオンラインでご講演いただきます。
His Excellency Mr. C.B. George, Ambassador of India to Japan, Mr. Kazuya Nakajo, Executive Vice President, JETRO, Mr. Kunal Kumar, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Mission Director and Government of India, Yoshihiro Kakisheta, Council for Global Secretaries, Minister Secretary, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, Government of Japan, and ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all. This is a small presentation from HUDCO's side. Planned urbanization, role of HUDCO and scope for collaboration. So, small trends about India's urbanization trends, HUDCO's role in planned urbanization, sectoral outlook, scope for collaboration with Japan. And this, as you already know, that population has grown in 6 decades, 6 times, whereas total population increased only 3.4 times. So HUDCO as a catalyst for planned urbanization in India. So it is a Government of India undertaking established in the year 1970, 5-decade-old company, exclusively financing and supporting housing and urban infrastructure sector all across India. We have a strong relations with the state governments and Government of India programs and housing as well as urban infrastructure sector. We are a specialized agency in consultancy, architectural, urban planning, environmental engineering, and we also have a specialized division called Research and Training Institute at Delhi. So our key strengths are that we are into entire landscape of housing and infrastructure projects. We have been involved with Government of India's programs like Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Housing for All, Jal Jeevan Mission, Smart Cities, Amrit, and we are having a value-added services like a technical assistance in the form of consultancy and training. We have a strong balance sheet. We are domestically rated AAA. Internationally, our rating is at par with our sovereign. As of now, we have a very strong asset quality with lowest non-performing assets in the sector. And we have a pan-India presence with a very strong presence in 21 offices in states and 11 development offices and a specialized training institute. So we are partnering in the financing, housing, infrastructure, consultancy as already known, and knowledge partner, and we are into many of the Government of India programs. We are specialized in housing as well as infrastructure, and we are also into disaster management and real estate sector. We are across all the sectors from housing to infrastructure. This is the 360-degree partnership, sustainable asset creation for Government of India. As I already told, consultancy, be it long-term financing, be it training and capacity building. So we have a specialized institution giving a training across India as well as international. Almost as of now, 55,000 professionals have trained, including 1,200 people from overseas. And we are having an excellent network with CityNet then APM Chud, and we are also into many of the Government of India programs. See the balance sheet size. Today's date, it is USD 10.2 billion. We started with a small this thing. Last 4 years, there is a good growth in terms of both sanction of loan as well as disbursements. At a global presence, we are mobilizing resources from line of credit from World Bank, Asian Development Bank, JICA, KFW, and recently we started going for external commercial borrowings, including in-based funding. We were recently in Tokyo, Taiwan, and also in Singapore. We have an international strong presence. We are permanent secretary for Asia Pacific Ministerial Conference on Housing and Urban Development, consisting of 68 countries. And we are also an anchor institution for India-based South African Women Settlement. We're also into coordination with UN Habitat for exchange of knowledge, research, training, and capacity building. We are into a strong association with Housing and Urban Development Studies, Rotterdam. We are also having a sponsoring of MBA, ITech programs, more than 75 countries. And we are into a training into CityNet and urban professionals. Our future plans is that we are already signed an MOU with Gift City, planning a new office in Gift City, wherein we will be a nodal officer for most of the CPSUs across India. And we have a very strong presence with multilateral developmental institutions and bilateral development institutions. We have a strong presence in consultancy to developing countries. We are exploring a possibilities having South Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya to have a training as well as a consultancy these cities, and we are also planning to lend it in Nepal and Bhutan in coming future. As you all know that India has a huge opportunity, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, as our Joint Secretary has already outlined. And as per recent budget, Government of India has allocated 11.11 lakh crore for infra. That means almost the big quantum jump from the last year. And we are also into many of this development in tourist centers. This is the sectoral outlook which I already indicated. The scope for collaboration with Japan, we can have various sectors, including planned urbanization in housing and urban infrastructure. Japan is an active partner in many areas, including National Infrastructure Development Corridor. Earlier it was Delhi-Mumbai Infrastructure Corridor, wherein they are equity partner also. We can also have a partnership with affordable housing, especially in the construction technology, efficient construction methods, both in quality as durability, smart city missions. As already our JS has told that we are into 20+ cities in urban metro rail, including monorail and all, and high-speed network, transportation, specialized corridor, these kind of areas where India as well as Japan can collaborate. In the technology transfer, design, expertise in building materials, and thematic exchange and knowledge sharing areas where both India and Japan can again collaborate. That's what from our side, from HUDCO side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Now we will now conclude the event on planned urbanization India-Japan collaboration today. 以上をもちまして、本日のイベント、計画的な都市化日印協力を終了とさせていただきます。Thank you very much for all the speakers and participants to join our event today. 皆様、ご参加いただいた皆様、登壇者の皆様、本日はお時間いただきまして誠にありがとうございました。We will have a networking session at the foyer just outside of this auditorium from now. You may exchange cards and interact each other. この後、ネットワーキングセッションをこの会場を出てすぐのホイヤーで開催いたしますので、皆様ご参加くださいませ。名刺交換の場としてご活用くださいませ。Thank you very much for your participation today. 本日はご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございました。